Okay. Hi, everybody. We are 2 minutes late, but we are here. We were working out the technology piece of figuring out how cool is it though that here we are with you on Facebook and we're simultaneously live on YouTube. Like technology. It's so wild and so cool. Yeah. So I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. If you were not planning to be here and you're like, oh my God, it's Annabelle and John, let's spend some time. Do spend some time. We're so excited you're here. We're so excited because tonight we are talking about classroom jobs and how they can cut through the chaos and create community in your world language classroom or your classroom in general. This is definitely not just for world language teachers. And it's something that I realized, John, like most of what we talk about, like it can impact every teacher, which is,
heck yeah.
you know? So
like I talked about on Instagram, I got a lot of this from my wife, who's an elementary teacher too. So,
I know it's wild. And I think that what you also said in Instagram, we just came from Instagram, by the way. What you also said on Instagram was so much of what we learn about classroom jobs have been around forever and they're just used in mainstream classes or core content classes. And they don't often come into the specials or the world language classrooms, the music classrooms, the art classrooms, etc. So I am Annabelle. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Annabelle. You can call me La Maestra Loca, and I don't take offense at all. Yes, I know what it means and implies, and I am a little bit, and that's okay. I teach third and fourth grade Spanish in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was Louisiana Foreign Language Teacher of the Year in 2018. And I love what I do. And I've always taught middle school. It is very weird to be back in elementary, but I've taught elementary, middle, and high across my career. I'm in my 12th year of teaching. And this is my friend, John.
Hey. Yes, I am John Seifert, and I've been teaching for about 25 years, so a little while longer, not too much more, but I've also taught everything from kindergarten up through 12th grade, and I've loved every minute of it, honestly. And yeah, I currently teach high school, so I'm currently doing 9 through 12. For those of you that are not sure that classroom jobs work with high school students, I can guarantee they do, because honestly, I've only used them with high school students. These last 7, 8 years now have been exclusively high school, and that's when I started doing classroom jobs. So I can guarantee they work with them, even up through 18, 19-year-olds. They will still be willing to do and help you out with a classroom job.
Yes. And so why we're doing this live together tonight, we actually have rescheduled this more times than you need to know about. We are both full-time parents who really care about prioritizing our families first and foremost. In fact, John has a kiddo who is about to go off to college and might be coming home during this live. And we have both said, okay, when you need to go and hug your baby and tell them how much you love them, because family comes first. And that's one of my favorite things that John always says. So we are both full-time parents, both full-time teachers, and we wanted to come to talk to you today about the power of classroom jobs because they changed my life this year. As a teacher who's in her 12th year, I have seen colleagues for years talk about these, including John. I've attended John's presentations on classroom jobs. But as a teacher who is as unorganized and frazzled and disastrous as I am, hola Maribel! We just know Annabelle's a hot mess. The thought of managing something as complex as every child in my classroom having a job felt daunting and impossible, frankly. So I just stayed far away. But I had John on to my Familia Loca PLC as a presenter of the month this year. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to do it. I just implemented a couple and the impact it had on me was so profound. I was like, wait a second. I implemented a whole full-fledged system. It has completely transformed my teaching this year. I am so frustrated with myself for not doing it sooner, but that's okay. And I immediately talked to John and I said, we need to spread this word sooner and faster to teachers because this is transformative. So, John, tell us how teachers are feeling right now.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious, to be honest. The last few years, since COVID especially, holy cow, we've been exhausted. And my whole point is teaching already is exhausting.
Mhm.
All of us go into teaching thinking, you know, we're going to do our best. We're going to touch lives. We are going to teach our content. And that's exhausting. To do well, you know, teaching is a never ending job. You don't just like show up and be like, yep, I'm going to pull out day 26. Here's the folder. I'm going to teach my lesson, put that back at the end of the day, go to day 27. I mean, if your lessons are that scripted and your life is that scripted, it can't work. It can't work. It's exhausting to keep up with everything we have to do. And that causes us to be overwhelmed. I mean, we are overwhelmed by not just that, but by all the other things that are put on our plate as well. I mean, heck, since COVID, that created a whole new set of rules for us. And since then, other things have come up, whether it's classroom environment, the environment of our society, just regulations that have come about. There are so many things, so many hats we have to wear. And it's exhausting and overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah. And I think that the other piece that comes with that is like, because there's so many tasks, and especially since COVID, I feel like it's just piling on and piling on and piling on and piling on. And because we're now in person again, people are like, oh, but it's okay. And all these added responsibilities and losing our planning time, all these things, I'm like, just trying to hang on, to be honest, like just trying to get to tomorrow. I'm not doing my best. I'm just hanging on. And all of it leads to frustration and exhaustion when it comes to building community, like blocking out all the extra, just thinking about, okay, why am I here? Like, what was my original purpose? Why am I in my classroom trying to connect with students if I can't even build the community that I'm used to building, that always felt so natural to me and so inherent? John, I just realized I didn't even give you a second to introduce yourself. Will you tell people who you are and what you teach? I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I did a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, just no, you're fine. Yeah,
This is
how
John.
many times now? How many times have we introduced ourselves in videos and like live stuff? So yeah, no,
Okay, John is amazing. He's been teaching 25 years, right?
yeah, 25 years. Yep. Some
25
people
years.
also like she has a different handle like Maestro Lucas. Some of my like if some of you might know me from books. Like I have some books out there and I go by Padre de Cinco, so father of five, because I have 5 kids of my own. And they're starting to get a little older, but for a short while there, I had 5 teenagers at the same time, between 13 and 18. And now now my range is now 14 to 20. So we're a little older now, and they're kind of not all teens anymore, but it's interesting having that many kids in that amount of time. So, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. That's my life. So for sure.
You are such a good daddy. Okay, I'm sorry. I just realized, like, oh my God, I didn't do that. So, the point I wanted to make with that is like, with all of these feelings and with the feeling of like, I am exhausted, I am overwhelmed, I'm trying to like get all the freaking things done that are assigned to me, but also I'm just doing everything kind of mediocre and I'm just trying to survive here. There's a solution. I love that Maribel just said this. I love class jobs. They make the little everyday things so much easier. And I teach high school too. The solution is, y'all, classroom jobs. The solution is implementing a system of classroom jobs in your situation, in your school, in your community. It is revolutionary. When I tell you that the beginning of my year, I was like, me managing the system, like what? Are you can't even imagine. I am so just me and straightforward and like barely hanging on every day. There's no freaking way. But classroom jobs have been absolutely and totally transformative. I actually have a review I wanted to read for you, for somebody that just listened to a podcast I did on classroom jobs and messaged me this on Instagram. She said, I cannot wait for your live today, Annabelle. I'm telling you that today was much happier, joyful day for my students because I finally implemented a full class system of jobs and a point system. I can enjoy class now because I'm not doing all the things on my own, and I'm able to better attend to the needs and weather of my students and be more present with them because of it. Thank you for everything you do. I was like, yes, this is literally perfect timing. I'm going to read this during the live because that is the transformation and the power of classroom jobs. The solution is implementing them. You are not responsible for the overwhelm you feel. You are not responsible for the exhaustion you feel, but you are in control of being able to immediately change and improve your situation. And you can do that with jobs. John, do you want to tell them why? I just heard a knock at my door, so I'm going to go answer my door.
Okay, sure. Okay, actually, I have a little quick story as well. I had a little discussion one time, this is a few years ago now, with a teacher friend of mine named Dolores, and she was done. She was just like done teaching. She had it. What the straw that broke the camel's back was that's something about the guidance counselor had requested her to do weekly reports on a few students that had some behavior plans and so on, and they wanted to make sure that they were following them and doing them, and she was just done. Between those kind of things, turning in weekly lesson plans, having to give up planning periods for duties, hallway duties, having a minimum, I think it was like 3 committees she had to serve on per year. It was just insane. She was done. She said, John, I'm quitting. Unless I can come up with a reason to come back tomorrow, I'm done now. Not at the end of the year. Now I'm done. And so I tried to talk her through it just to see what was the issues. I wasn't there to like try to solve every one of her problems, but I wanted to see what was at the root cause. And she was just overwhelmed. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So I said, hey, do you want to talk more through it? See if we can find something? Because I know you love teaching. I know you want to keep going and you don't want to quit. You just feel like that's what's best for you at this second. And she's like, sure, let's see. And so I try to address like, okay, what is it that's taking all your time? What can we do to give you back some of that time, give you a breather, create sanity for yourself, and also help you gain back what you're losing, which she described to me as she just felt disconnected from her kids. She didn't feel like she had that connection anymore because she's always busy doing these attendance reports or filling out forms for somebody else or having to attend the meetings that really had nothing to do with her. I'm sure nobody's ever had that experience, right? Like, a meeting that didn't apply to you. She said like that was her life, like doing all these extra things and never focusing on the one thing she wanted to do, which is to create connections and have community with her students. So we kind of brainstormed. I told her about some of the jobs that I do, and she seemed really interested, perked up kind of about that. And we tried to figure out, okay, here's your need. Here's a way that might help you get to there, help take away some of that burden. And so we came up with a really short list, not a list of one job per student kind of thing, but just 4 or 5, I think maybe even 6 jobs that she could roll out that week to see if that was going to make a change. So I said, give it a week. Don't assume that after day 1 that everything's going to be solved, but let's give it a week or so and see how you feel. Talk to me again after you've had a few days to try it. And she did. And she said, John, this is amazing. I need to go full on. I need to do this with my whole heart now, because this is it. I feel like I can at least tread water now. So let's see what can happen if we go create the whole system and do the whole thing like you're doing. So we had further discussions, and from there, she got her legs back under her. She felt like she could get through the day again, and those overwhelming things became just part of her day, and she could handle it because she got rid of some of the other stresses that were making her quit. And many of us have felt that way before. We're like, just there's too much other stuff. I don't know if I can handle it. And so that's why classroom jobs can be effective. That's why we do it, and that's why we wanted to talk to you about this.
Yeah, and I want to say too, before we even move on, we've talked about the why, and I've shared some reviews, and John just shared that amazing testimonial. If you're my brain right now, you're like, yeah, but it's also January 11th, and you didn't tell me about this before we came back from break, and now I've been back for 3 days, or for me, like a week and a half, and what? But my push is you can start this just like John helped that teacher tomorrow with 1 job. You can roll out 3 jobs next Monday. You don't have to start with a full-fledged system. Polly, yes, we are recording it. It's going to be on YouTube, Facebook. We already have a recording on Instagram as well. We want to support y'all. The whole goal of this is being able to start jobs at any time. Yes, Maribel, Yes, I love you. We did not pay her to be here, but she is saying all the right things. You can start jobs at any time. You can start jobs whenever. The whole point of a classroom job system is to relieve you. It's to give you support and help you feel a sense of, oh my God, I have my time back. I can make more time. I can cut through the chaos and make time for what's really important, which is connecting with my students and building community, right? So there's so much power in that. Somebody asked about jobs on a cart, and I would love it if you could stay a little bit after, because I'd love to think through that a little bit with you, because I think there are certain things you absolutely can do, and we will totally address those questions at the end. But my point is, before we dig into our favorite class jobs, because today we want to give you like, okay, these are our favorites and this is why, so that you can actually try them for yourself. Before we do that, I wanted to tell you that it's okay that it's January 11th. Or if you're watching this recording and it's March 13th and it's a Friday and you're like, oh, bad luck, disastrous. No, you can implement them immediately and start feeling the effects on your mental, emotional, and physical well-being in the classroom right away, because it is that profound. Okay, sorry, I'm off, not off of my soapbox. Here we go, rolling in. So we're going to share with you some of our favorite class jobs. And
not off of my soapbox. Here we go.
Rolling in. So strange.
So we're gonna
I hear myself. It's so weird. It's magic. So honestly, I think that the thing that it's important to recognize is we have a million class jobs, not at all a million. Actually, John literally has a list of 90 class jobs, so practically a million. But we have so many favorite class jobs. It's really hard to choose our favorites, but we want to give you some right now that you can ponder on, think about how they've impacted us, and think about what it would look like or feel like in your classroom for you to implement them. I see some more questions rolling in, and we'll address those in a second. I want to tell you about my first favorite, which is the technology ambassador. My technology ambassador, it's entirely possible they are watching this from YouTube right now, because I choose kids who are like super into technology. They are computer whizzes. They are into YouTube, right? They are the people that manage all the things and actually understand the way systems work better than me. I actually had one of them teach me how to use a laser on my computer the other day, and I was like, what just, and he did it in seconds. I said, you're going to have to teach that to me slower. So it's like those kind of kids. And I'm telling you, like, as an elementary teacher, you might be like, yeah, but I teach littles. No, these are my third graders. I have a third grader technology ambassador in every single class. Their role is they begin and end my class, every single class. When they come in, they survey the classroom. They look and see if kids are seated and or a few kids are seated and ready for the do now. They put up the do now, and then they go get their own journal, sit down, start working on it. During the class time, if there's any videos, they control it. I give them commands in Spanish. They start, stop videos. In the middle of a video, they pause it. They are also substitute support, y'all. When I'm gone, I have a kid. I have actually a classroom ambassador as well, who's in charge of supporting the sub. But my technology ambassador is in charge of the tech when I'm out. They're in charge of supporting the technology with the sub, because let's be honest, half of our subs don't even know how to, like, nada, ni nada. Forget speaking Spanish, like, don't know how to work a system. So they support my sub. They also end my class. So at the end of my class, my computer almost fell. That's fun. At the end of my class, instead of me like frantically changing slides and getting ready before the next class comes, my technology ambassador is in charge of getting rid of the old slides, making note of where we ended, pulling up the next class's slides, getting it started on their welcome sign. Like, they do it all, so that all I have to do is check in with kids. Today, I got to talk to a kiddo. He told me that his family's from Haiti. I was like, what? He's like, sí, mi papá habla francés. He's a super quiet kid that would never share that publicly in front of the class. But because of something I had shared about New Year's Eve in another part of the world, he felt compelled to share that with me for the first time today. Like, and I wouldn't have had that moment if I was frantically trying to reset for the next class, because I teach 7 classes a day, back to back, no transition time in between. that is the only time I have to get ready for the next class. Well, if I have everybody else doing literally every piece of that for me, I don't have to worry about it. And there's so much power in that. My other favorite, oh my gosh, I love that Mighty Bell is sharing her favorite class jobs, class manager and a class secretary. Oh my gosh, I think that those are two of John's jobs. One of them is similar to one he's actually going to share. Okay, my other favorite job is my custodian. So my custodian's job is to come in at the end of class and literally sweep the room. They straighten every single chair. I don't need to put tape down. They know where every chair goes based on little lines that they know in the floor because it's their job to know. They pick up any trash left behind. They also pick up any loose pencils. They collect the lost and found items, which if you're an elementary teacher, this is mind-blowing. This moment is mind-blowing. They collect the lost and found and take it with their class because they travel as a class. So they just deliver the lost and found to the child in the next room. And I never have leftover anything in my room because of the custodians, which, let's be honest, those precious minutes of you walking something to the lost and found or walking in the office, that's time found again, right? So if I taught middle school, I would still have implemented this and had them to take it to the lost and found with me. My custodians are such a powerful job. And Alexis, I love this. Alexis said on YouTube, is it ever too late to build connection with students? I can completely relate to the teacher who mentioned that there are so many things going on and it affects even your demeanor with the students. It totally does. We're exhausted. It shows in everything that we do. And we just want that joy back. And the joy honestly comes from those micro moments with students. But if we don't have micro moments to give to students, then what? Ugh. Okay, John, share about your favorites.
All right. Okay, first one up I have is the attendance secretary, or sometimes I call it the attendance inspector, either way. And this is a pretty obvious one, to be honest. They take attendance for you. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually just had a staff meeting this morning because evidently yesterday we had an incident in the hallway, and now our principal said, hey, you need to make sure all teachers need to be in the hallways every passing period. And in my head, I'm thinking, no, I don't want to be in the hallway every passing period. I need those 4 minutes. I need those 4 minutes to organize some materials, talk to students that were absent. I need to go pee, whatever. There's a million things you need to do. Those few minutes are precious. And this would have been impossible if I didn't have some jobs like the attendance secretary. And with the attendance secretary, it's obvious they take the attendance. I've got a little clipboard at the front of my room. It's hanging on a little hook. All they do is they go up there. It has the same sheets that I use for my sub for when they have to take attendance when I'm gone. And they just look on there, figure out who's absent. And then when I come in the room from the hallway now, they tell me, hey, such and such of people were here or gone, or they're at a band lesson or whatever, and then I'm done. I can just write that down or plop it in the computer, and it takes 1 second. If I had to do that normally, that of course would take me 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Sometimes you're like, hey, I know Davey was here, but I don't see him now. Does anybody heard? Like, that's all taken care of by my attendance secretary. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you just save 30 seconds at a transition time of your classroom, that's huge. Transitions, you know as well as I do, if you've ever taught, you can lose the class just like that in a transition. You cannot afford to waste those seconds. So anything that takes burden off of you during that time is a huge, huge win. You've got to do that. You've got to take advantage of every second that you can. So attendance secretary, that's my probably number one job if you're trying to help save yourself a little bit of time. And during a 4-minute break, if you save 30 of those seconds, that's humongous.
And 30 seconds over like every day for a whole year, like that's what really is transformative, right? When you look up like the big picture, it's like,
heck yeah, for sure. And that leads me to my second one, which is the scapegoat. Now, some of the other jobs that we've talked about and in the session that we have here are very classroom management organized, or organized towards classroom management, I should say. And those are amazing. Those help save you time. This one, though, is more, it's a job that creates fun in your classroom, I feel like. So anyways, what happens is anytime something negative or something bad happens in your classroom, the scapegoat gets blamed for it. So for example, Isabella walks in the classroom and she trips over somebody's computer bag. And then we instantly turn to Annabelle and say, Annabelle, ¿por qué? Why did you do that? Annabelle, what's going on? And then Annabelle can only give us one response. She can only tell us.
Lo siento.
That's right. She can say she's sorry, and that's it. Now, this might seem really harsh or might seem like a negative thing, but I can't tell you how many times I've incorporated this job where the students all love it. The scapegoat loves it. The rest of the class loves it. It kind of brings a little bit of levity, so lightness to the class that might not have been there before. And it creates connections between that student that's blamed for everything and the rest of the class. And that student maybe was one of those students that didn't really make connections with other people, or they just sat in the corner. And because of that, now they have a meaningful, fun, joyful connection with them that wasn't there before. And so this little extra part that we can add to their day just creates a classroom community that you can't get in other ways. So having jobs that we call them jobs that are just to have jobs, but really they still serve a purpose. They still make a difference in your classroom environment, community, sense of being, and they can be fun. Like, what student doesn't want to add a little bit of fun to their routine? And this is just one way to do that.
Yeah, and I think so. I so agree with you. Don is asking where this is being shared. This is live streamed to La Maestra Loca's Facebook page, La Maestra Loca YouTube, and Familia Loca PLC, because I send anything that I'm doing their way, because why not? So that is an amazing job, and I think that this one is really important, John, for the people who are like, I teach high school. I teach middle school, 8th grade, who kids are like, a job, like what? I have to do one more thing. Like the apathy, right? It's also, we had a teacher in Instagram say, I've always done jobs. This is the first year ever I've had kids say, 1, I don't want a job, or 2, the novelty of it wears off quite quickly for her, or that's what she's experiencing. That's very real. And some of the things that we talked about before is, 1, if you're introducing class jobs and trying class jobs, it's super important that you continue to acknowledge that classroom jobs are such an important system to the function and the overall flow of your classroom, that their contributions to your classroom are essential in your classroom working the way that it does. You're constantly needing to acknowledge that and give them recognition for the good or the great job that they're doing in their classroom jobs, right? Because if we're just like, okay, we assigned you these jobs and we never talk about it again, it's not gonna keep itself up. So that's an important piece of it. And the other important piece is, not all the jobs, like John said, not all the jobs have to be like these big, heavy lift tasks that kids have to do. They can be the scapegoat. Will you tell them about Lifesaver, please?
Oh, okay. I also have a job that I created a couple years ago, but now is starting to really implement as well. It's the opposite of the scapegoat. So here's a bonus job for you. Where you, instead of blaming someone, anything that good happens, you praise them for it. So the basketball team last night won the big district game, right? So now we talk to Andrick, who's not even playing basketball, and say, Andrick, gracias. Thank you. Thank you for that win. Thank you for doing this for our school, for our team, and you can just praise them up to no end, right? And the only thing they can say, not that I'm sorry, but de nada, you're welcome. Or you can throw in other thank you things like no hay de qué, or whatever happens to be. No es necesario. And again, gives them some interaction. It may seem fake. It may seem like, oh, we're praising them for something they didn't do. But I tell you, from experience, that connection that they make with the other kids, even if they're not involved in those activities, is still real. If it feels like the praise is fake, the result is real. It still makes a connection. It still makes them part of the classroom, still builds community. And that's what we're trying to do. We want to make connections in community. We want to, and that's and of course, we're trying to teach with comprehensible input. We're still trying to teach the language, but you can't do that without community. You can't do that without connections. You might as well just be a digital computer system if you're not going to have those things. And we already know that didn't work. We tried that during COVID in a lot of places. Didn't work. You have to have community. You have to have connections. And jobs like that can help you get there piece by piece, little by little, and you will see a result. You will see a change if you try that.
And I think that that's so powerful, John, because I even just talking about this and presenting with you before, I've always personally thought, since I'm newer to classroom jobs, I mean, it's been transformative and I can tell you all about it, but since I'm newer, I'm specifically thinking about the community I'm able to build and the connections I'm able to make because of the time I'm saving. But really, so many of these jobs inherently build the community we're looking for because of that laughter, because of the joy, because of the responsibility that the students feel as part of that bigger whole, as a single part that helps the classroom run smoothly, that it's so powerful. I know that my admin, literally, I've had people walk in and go, oh my God, like, what is going on? Because the classroom is running itself. I am having a conversation one-on-one with kid, and there are 7 people doing their own thing while 15 kids are doing their do now. And then 2 other people go up and grab 2 unicorns and sit straight back down, and they're silently waiting. Like, there's so many pieces, moving pieces that have took time and intentionality to build, but it's part of a greater picture, and that's the power of it. And that's why we really want you to actually do this. We want you to actually try this. Let me find my slides again. There we go.
So yeah, like Annabelle was saying, we want you to, after this our session here, go out, try maybe 1, 2 of these jobs that we suggested here. There are so many jobs out there. Maybe you already have some. Maybe you have heard of others and you want to try them out. Do it. Don't wait till Monday, or don't wait till the beginning of the semester or quarter, or wait till next year. Holy cow. All that time lost. Don't do that. We only have so many minutes with our kiddos. Use every minute that you can. So here's what we want you to do. Again, try out a job or 2. Go for 2 days, 3 days, 5, a week, whatever. And then make a mental note, or even write down on a little sticky note. What did you notice about it? How did that change how you felt about the environment of the classroom? How did it change what you saw going on? Did it free up any time for you? You want to see, is this going to make an effect? And if 1 or 2 jobs makes a little bit of effect, just imagine what more could happen, right? Like Annabelle, would you agree that like even 1 or 2 jobs can probably make some change at least even?
And that's exactly what I did. Because of my nature of being who I am, I was like, let's just start with 2 because you're a hot mess and you can't manage your brain, let alone 25 different jobs, 30 different jobs. Imposible, Annabelle, ¿qué estás pensando, right? So I was like, okay, let's just try these 2. And then I realized, like, oh my gosh, just these 2 jobs have completely changed my mental and emotional state of being in between classes. I can't fathom what more will do. And that's exactly what we want you to do. We want you to take an actual note. We want you to actually be observant about writing out what time is saved, even if it's a minute. 1 minute over a week is 5. If it's a minute here and 3 minutes at the end of the class, that's 4 minutes per class, per 7 classes that you teach. How many days a week? Like, that is a ton of time. How many more connections do you make with kids? How much more are kids feeling responsible and accountable for the classroom community and their responsibility and role within that classroom community? What is that looking like now? We want you to give it a try. We want you to really be intentional about it.
Yeah. And like she says, so you try out a couple of jobs. Now just take that and imagine if you had a whole system of jobs, and you were able to take the time and tailor those jobs to students' interests, students' personality types, their strength. What would this look like now? What would what would having all that in place do for you and do for the community that you're trying to create?
Yep.
And
Imagine taking that time back, right? Imagine that time. Imagine connecting with your students, like the profound impact you would have by adding a little bit more. Oh, John, it's so good. Do you
yes,
want to tell them? Do you want to tell them? You tell them.
I can if you want.
You tell
Yes.
them. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Okay. So excited. So excited. This is the first night that we're announcing this. So you're some of the first people to hear about it. That together, Annabelle and I have decided we wanted to create a course just for you having to do with classroom jobs. So here it is. Annabelle, tell them about the class here.
Oh my God. Okay. So we, for ages, and again, we were like, oh, we're going to put this out. I don't even want to tell you when we originally were going to put this out. But here we are putting this out now. The time is now. There's never been a better time to cut the chaos and create community with classroom jobs. This is the title of our course, and we have taken a while to create it, but we wanted it to be just right. You can go to tinyurl.com/yay, YAY, class jobs. And I just posted the link as well in the Facebook chat. I'll figure out how to do the rest later. Oh, John did it too. Yay. So the program promise, our program promise to you in investing in this course is you will walk away being able to utilize classroom jobs to create a positive and supportive learning environment while freeing up your time for what matters most, which is building relationships and connecting with your students. That's what we all want. That's what we know is key to us not only surviving in the profession, but thriving, are those micro moments of connecting with students. And that is our program promise to you.
For sure. And on that note, we've kind of organized this into some course modules. And these modules, we've spent a long time organizing, trying to structure them so they really are going to have an impact on you in your classroom. And we're going to be doing things like why use class jobs. And we've already hit that kind of like in this presentation, but we go a little more in depth, of course. There's like jobs out there. We have jobs organized by a couple different things. Organized by the role they fill in your classroom. Like maybe it's classroom management, maybe it's creating community. It could be jobs just for the sake of jobs. In other words, jobs that might be, just fun or just interesting or creating a sense of well-being in there. And we also decided, after a little bit of development in our class, we decided, hey, some people are looking for something different than that. Some people want to see the jobs as based on a student type, based on what kind of students you have in your class. Because sometimes you can tailor the jobs to the kids you have if you have that opportunity. And so we also have listed our jobs and have modules based on students that are active, students that are very verbal, students that like organization. I think I mentioned this on our other presentation where you've got that kid where we all have these kids, right? Where you wrote something on the board, you erased it, and they're like, sir, you left 3 millimeters of blue on the board. Could you get rid of that? Because I'm not going to be able to focus otherwise. So those kind of kids, you need to harness that. That's good energy. They're going to be successful in life at something just because they have that mindset. So why not use it in your classroom? Have a job that is tailored to their inclinations, their interests, their whatever. And so we've got jobs organized like that based on student type as well. We talk about when to start, and hint, it's not next year. It's not a week from now. It's now. Start now. Don't wait. You only get so many minutes with every student. You only have so many years to teach. Why waste time? Like, start now. You don't need to waste any more time. You've got other administrators, leaders in your building that are already wasting enough time for you. Don't waste it yourself. Okay. Now, we also talk about our favorite jobs. We shared a few with you today, but we'll share many, many more. Annabelle mentioned that there's about 50 some jobs that we have listed in this course that we'll describe to you. And I know that number sounds huge and probably overwhelming, but we've got it divided up into little tiny bite-sized nuggets for you. Anywhere from like a 5 or 7 minute video down to like 30 seconds. Some of them are less than a minute. And so those videos are tailored for you so you can take what you need when you need it. You don't have to like search through the whole course. You can literally go through the drop-down menu and find, okay, he talked about, or Annabelle talked about, like a brain break ninja or something like that. So you can find that video listed, named that, and just click on it, listen to it, start at the next period. You could be on your planning period and add a new job the next period of the day. So don't feel like our course is overwhelming. There's a ton of information. Don't get me wrong. There is so much stuff there that you can use and add to what you've already got going on, but it's not overwhelming. Okay. And besides that, we talk about how to keep the system going. If you're going to add a job or take it away, or even if you create your own jobs, because we are not the expert in your classroom. You might have needs that we haven't addressed with some of the jobs that we use. And some of the jobs that we use might not fit what you have in your situation. So we kind of step by step walk you through, okay, what do I really need? Is there a job on their list in their course for that? And if not, can I create one? And that's key to it. You can make up whatever job you need. You don't need to have something just off our list. We're not the be all end all. You can come up with whatever you want, whenever you want, and it can be transformational. It's going to be amazing.
I love seeing like some people like I love my Meredith and Maribel are sharing like these profound testimonies about how classroom jobs have been transformational for them and their students and their classroom culture and community. And then we also have people being really vulnerable with us, like Maribel C and Melanie, my dear Melanie, who are still seeking growth and seeking how to develop that community and looking for like, what can I do? And Maribel, you're not sabotaging yourself by not assigning classroom jobs. That's what I did for 12 years. I didn't think I was capable and I didn't think I'd be good at it. And that's why I immediately, as soon as I started feeling and seeing that success, I reached out to John immediately and I said, we need to develop something for teachers so that they can start doing this now and don't have to wait so long thinking that they're incapable of doing it, because I felt like I was good at classroom community, but lately in the past few years, it's been harder and harder. And now I feel like I have my time back to focus on that, which is so important. So let me talk to you about what goes with it, because it's not just the modules and the videos that John was talking about. We have resources to help guide you through the course as well. And the first is a course workbook. The course workbook guides you through, like, there's a table of contents to support you, and which my friend Tiffany was like, that's the best part, seeing all of your beautiful jobs listed out. That's my favorite part. And I was like, really? Of all the things? She said, yes, that is worth the whole course, is that beautiful little layout. We also have a section in the workbook for you to really brainstorm, like, what is my end goal? Why do I want to implement jobs? What am I seeking? Is it the classroom community? Is it management? Is it more about the classroom management for me? Really, like, to reflect on what you need most and what that support would look like for you. And then the ability to just take notes and think about, okay, I have a student that would be perfect for that job. We have a section where you can write that down as you're listening to a job. You can say, John would be the perfect kid for that because he's always seeking attention anyways, whether it's positive or negative. Let's give him that job. So there's like a section for that too. In addition to that, we have templates for you, templates galore. We have a template for keeping track of all these jobs and knowing who is assigned to what in every class. We have beautiful templates that will guide you through teaching your kids about these jobs, a slide by slide with a description and images for you. So let's say you select the 20 that you want to roll out, or the 25, or even the 3 you want to roll out. You have slides to do that. You even have little tags, like under that number 3, that show you can put it in the pocket holder. Is that what you told me it was called, Jen?
Pocket chart.
Pocket chart. That's it. Words are hard, but you can put them in the pocket chart, and then kids' names could be under that. That's what I have in my classroom. And you actually see my classroom a lot in some of the classroom videos that I recorded. But there's so much included with this. And I think, John, do you want to tell them about the biggest thing right now? This is our first ever launch. So there's one major bonus that's included that won't be included in the future.
Yeah, it's that third item listed there, the live group coaching. we're going to host a session for anybody that signs up for this course in the first couple weeks. We'll have a session where you can come ask questions. We'll do a PQA, or question and answer session. Sorry, Q&A, PQA. I've been teaching too many classroom stories here. So a Q&A, and we can discuss as a group what's working for you, what's not. And this is only going to be available for these first 2 weeks, because we want to give you a little time to get into the class, of course, first, and then try things out, because you're going to have trial and error kind of things. And then we want to hear about your successes. We want to hear about what you're struggling with still. And then maybe we can work through that with you. And to go along with that, we also want to hear from you during the class, that while you're going through the course, by making comments and engaging with us there. Because it's not a static course. It's not a course where, you're going to purchase this course and then never hear from us again. We're going to try to interact with you, help you along the way. But this live group coaching session is going to be amazing. You're going to get to hear from us, from other people that are exactly in the same place as you. And it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that element is really important, like the reconnection piece. Being able to be in a course where you can, we said that was one of the values of the course, is being able to engage and interact with other teachers. You're going to create class jobs for yourself, or have certain wins in your classroom with jobs that we share that are going to be so huge and revolutionary. Having a place to share with people who get it and who are in it with you, and share that win, and us be able to celebrate that with you, is huge. So we want you to interact in the course, in the comments, share what's working, share what challenges you're facing, because we really want to support you through that. And John has been doing class jobs a lot longer than me. As a high school teacher, he knows the ups and downs of working with some different personalities than are typically easier and more easily pleased elementary students. I shouldn't say easier, because they're different, right? But we have faced these challenges ourselves, and we would love to work through that with you, rather than you face those alone and be wondering, like, what next? Don shared a tip. Don said, I have a flip chart with dry erase surface to keep all the jobs straight. One job is to flip the chart to the correct class list. I love this, Don. That's an awesome hack. That's so great. Okay, so let me talk to you about the value. All of these things combined, when you count all the bonuses, including John's huge ultimate classroom jobs list, which has the job title, the job description, some helpful tips. He tried to put a price value on that, and I was like, dude, it's priceless. It's invaluable. You can't put a price on that 90 classroom jobs list, ultimate list. Like, no. With my rejoinders, with the live group coaching component that won't always be around, the total value of the course is $495. We are teachers. We know that there is no way we can ask you of $495 of you. We know that that's the value. We feel confident in that, even higher, to be honest. But the price that we have set this course up for, even with the live bonus coaching, is $67. So the idea that you can get all of that combined with the support of live group coaching, and the fact that it's not a buy and go course, like, we want you interacting with us, it's $67, all the resources included. Again, that link, we've dropped it a couple times. I know, Meredith, thank you. You're such a good cheerleader. There's some people on here that I'm just so grateful. But the link is there again. We want, whether you get this course or not, we want you to take that risk and trust these comments that you've been reading, and try class jobs. Implement them in your classroom. See, even if it's 1 or 2, what impact it has, what time it saves, what community you're able to build. Choose just 1 or 2, reflect on it, make note, come back here, tell us. You can put it on the Facebook comments, put it on the YouTube comments. We want to know how you're feeling. We want to know what impact it has, because that is why I called John, saying, John, I'm not done with you. You have transformed my classroom, and now we need to spread it far and wide, and I need everybody to be doing class jobs, because this is nuts. This is so incredibly helpful. It is like half a conference registration. It's phenomenal and it's amazing and it's all bite-sized and beautiful. So you can just do 2 minutes at a time if you want to, which is really, really nice.
For sure.
Okay, so let's see. There's a couple questions. How can you implement jobs and charts when you travel to 14 different classrooms 2 times a week? Okay, so Lisa asked this earlier. Lisa was our classroom job on a cart person. And my argument for anybody on a cart, you typically don't see every class every day, right? So what I would do, and granted, I'm not on a cart. I have been on a cart one time. I traveled to 16 different classes, one time each per week. And it was not my favorite thing, is what I will say. But what I would do as far as a classroom jobs system is I would teach a set of 3, 4, 5 jobs that are essential to your everyday workings. The way that the class functions every week. And then because you're an elementary teacher and kids will let you know if it isn't equitable, and John had that job last week and it was my turn for a job, darn it, I would just literally print your roster with rotating jobs so that kids can keep it in their classroom. You just take a second and make a rotating list. Boom, it's in the classroom. They already know when Spanish teacher Miss Davison comes in, Senora Davison comes in, what job they have. Maybe it's the light technician. Maybe it's the door person. It's insane how stoked elementary kids get for that door job. I have a little boy who and he has an IEP. He has a meltdown if anybody touches the door. Everybody knows you don't touch the door. It's his job. It's his job. He opens it, he shuts it for guests, for students going to the bathroom, everything. He is el portero. That is his job. He is so proud of it. And his vocabulary has expanded so much because of it, because of the specialized vocabulary that I get to talk to him about his job with, right? So I would have like a rotating 3 or 4, maybe 5 classroom jobs that you take a whole class period with them to teach them and talk about it using that vocabulary, get them stoked about it. And then it's a rotating system, right? You could even have little laminate things that they know that when it's their day, they get to wear it maybe around their neck, like a little necklace, so that you remember, okay, who is my portero? They already know because it was assigned to them and it's finally their day to have that job. That's my thought process. If you wanted to make it a little bit different, I guess you could just hand out those cards each time. But now that I'm back in elementary and I'm reminded, anytime I introduce a new classroom brain break that has like a key character, every class period, it's like, can I be the night guard today? Can I be the night guard today? Can I be the night guard today? And they let me know if I pick somebody who has gone twice. They're like, wait, they've already gone. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. Who has not been a night guard? So that's my only issue with like just passing out random cards. But that's what I would do, is like, think about how you can do this on a smaller scale without breaking your back of like, okay, I have 14 classes and I'm trying to manage this. I don't know. John, have you used to do this with elementary too? Do you have any other things outside of that?
I did it a little bit. That was before I was whole hog with jobs at that point. But yeah, when I traveled to elementary classrooms, because there was a while, actually about 12 years, where I taught in a building that was K-12. So I had everybody in the building. It was a super small school. But I asked each teacher if I could have one poster size spot in their classroom. And it was sometimes, key vocabulary that we were doing or whatever. But if I was to go back and do that now, I might have a pocket chart for each classroom that has everybody's name, all the jobs on little cards. And that way I can say, okay, here's the job, here's their names, all like on note cards or printed out, or had to have their picture even. That'd be even better, especially for like kindergarten and first grade who might not be literate yet.
Right.
And then just move down the job or the names of the jobs, or rotate, or just have a little system, or maybe even a flip chart on the wall. That way you can go back between jobs and other things that you're already doing in the classroom. And if you could have just one like 2 foot by 3 foot area on the wall in the classroom, that would be super helpful. And that's probably what I would ask first, if possible.
And I think too, like some teachers are going to be weird about that. Others are going to be super understanding. Like it's exhausting to do what you do and to travel from room to room. So hopefully they can have a little empathy, even if it's at the back of the class. And one of your classroom jobs is for a kid to like pull that forward and like assign those in the morning during their morning meeting time or their choice time. You know what I mean? Most elementary classes have some sort of choice time. One of your jobs could be that. They'll say can hold 5 to 10 pounds or whatever they can. Yes, yes, yes. Totally. Sticky paper, travel size sticky paper. Oh my gosh, my cart was so beautiful. I called it, I was like, pretended like it was Miss Frizzle, and I called it like the magic school bus cart. And I like did all the like magnetic things, and I tried so much to like embody that Jason Fritz lifestyle of like, I can travel to many schools and many classrooms and look at the proficiency of my children. And it was a hot mess and nothing like Jason Fritz, but it was an Annabelle mess. So that was good. I love this. Meredith, you're so right. If you cut your Starbucks for 2 weeks, it'll pay for this course and it's going to make your teacher life so much more sustainable. And we really priced it at a place where we knew that it was still going to be super valuable and impactful to you, but manageable, because as full-time teachers ourselves, we know what you make. And
yeah. For sure. Like I have to chime in there. Like I know exactly what you make, because I don't know what we were thinking, but my wife and I are both teachers. So if anybody understands like teacher salaries, we do. And we raise 5 kids at the same time. So we get it. We completely understand that you're not going to, if this was $495, nobody's buying it. I wouldn't buy it for myself either. And we made the course. So we get it.
We get it. Even if it's that value, there's no way teachers could do it. So we hope to see you in our course. We hope to support you. And we're so grateful that you've spent the time with us this evening. We had no idea who would show up or what to expect. So it's also really fun to see some friends and people that we love dearly here supporting us in our work. And we're so grateful to be part of your teaching journey. And if you have any questions at all, reach out to us. That link, again, I'm just going to paste it one more time, but it's tinyurl.com/yay, YAY, class jobs. And yeah, we hope you have a beautiful night. And I'm going to go snuggle my babies who snuck in quietly while I've been presenting. And John, I hope you get some family time tonight, and we will see you all very soon, we hope.
Thank you so much, everybody.
We'll see you later. Bye. You're welcome. Yay! Sign up. See you later, y'all. Bye-bye. Bye, Melissa. Bye, Lisa. See y'all.